So let's continue on with the next lesson. So we're using object-oriented programming, and as I mentioned a couple of lessons ago, this is by far the most difficult way of doing it. But the reason we're doing it this way, I mean, there's a very good reason that it's done this way, and there is an easier way to do things, and that is called procedural. But I'm not even going to touch on how to do that because it's like a band-aid fix. It's not a good long-term solution. Object-oriented programming is difficult, but it has huge advantages. So some of those advantages and some of those things that we want to keep in mind, even if you don't know really what they are, just keep on thinking about it. Keep it in your mind as you continue to develop, develop your skills. Code reuse. What we want to do is we want to create our classes in such a way that to maximize the possibility of reusing that code within the same program, within a future project, or to be able to share that class, or even sell it to another developer or someone else in your project or someone else in the company who can use it. So code reuse is huge in object-oriented programming. It's one of the biggest ideals. Scalability. To be able to add features to the program, to be able to extend its capabilities, to create better versions without having to rewrite the entire program. And thirdly, a third ideal, and there's more by the way, is the ability to modify it. Okay, so if someone comes down to you and says, okay, well look, we want to do this instead of that, then it's easy to get in and make the changes without having to, with minimal amounts of difficulty. Okay, so the other ideas that we talked about is naming convention. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to use a naming convention for the methods and behaviors, for the variables, properties, and parameters that makes the program easy to debug. It makes it easy for collaborators to read your code and know what it does because your variable names are so good. Easy for future reference. Make it in plain English. Keep it short and sweet. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to fix something up with the purpose of kind of reviewing it. Okay, and then in the next little bit we're going to talk about inheritance, polymorphism, and we're going to drop a bomb. So just to review very quickly, the name of our class is account, and any object created from this class can have the properties of a first name, name F, a last name, and a balance. So if we go back to our main program, at the beginning of the program, these two lines here, we're creating two objects. Okay, the G1 object is based on the account class with the parameters princess, Leia, and 1000. So princess first name, Leia last name, 1000 is the value of the balance. Okay. So how do these values get associated or set in these properties is through the constructor. Okay, so the constructor is a function, has the same name as the class. So as soon as you create a new object based on this class, the constructor function is run. Okay, and this chunk of code in here sets the fields, okay, for this object. So this is kind of like a pronoun that refers to the object that was created based on the account class. Okay, and this is equal to, in this case I call it G1. So visually, what it looks like is I've created an object of the name G1. The object has a name F, first name of princess, last name of Leia, and a balance of 1000. So it's an object. It's in the data is encapsulated, kind of like a force field around it. Okay, and when I get back to the program, and when this line is run, it's basically going to do the same thing, but it's going to have different values associated with the properties. Okay, so when that line is run, I'm basically going to create my other object right here. All right. Okay, so in this, when you get back to the program, now let's run the program. All right. Now, when you run the program, what we're trying to do is we're trying to deposit $1,500 into the negative $1,500 into the G1 account. Now, it's not going to let you do that because it simply doesn't make sense to deposit a negative number. So what's happening here is we're calling the deposit method or behavior through the G1 object, and we're passing a parameter of negative $1,500. So the G1 object was created based on the account class, so the deposit method or behavior is inside the account class. Inside the account class here, you see that we have the deposit method or behavior. Okay. Now, in this line here, we're creating a new object called validate. Okay, and in validate, we're use the new object name checkNum. Okay, we're calling the isPositive behavior, and we're sending it the amount here. Okay, the amount that's passed to this that was originally passed to this deposit behavior. Okay, and that was again negative $1,500. Negative 1,500. So when we get this back here, the checkNum is positive. Now look how good the you know, the names are for these for the object name and also for the behavior name. So this is, you know, check number. Is it positive? In this case, no, it's false. Okay, so the variable names, the object name, and the method name itself tells me exactly what it's doing. So it's checking the number. Is it positive? In this case, no, is negative 1,500. Therefore, this is false, and then therefore it's going to return attempting to deposit negative number. I go back to my Java program, and sure enough, here it is, attempting to deposit a negative number. It's false. Okay, so everything's working the way I think it should. But what I want you to notice is, what about this? So Princess Leia has, my object G1 has $1,000 as the balance. Okay, I tried to deposit negative $1,500, didn't work. Okay, perfect. Now what I'm doing here is through the G1 object, I'm trying to withdraw $4,500, but I only have $1,000. So if I so theoretically I can't overdraw. I mean, I can't withdraw more money than I have in my bank account. So I have $4,500 that I withdraw, and guess what? The program actually let me do it. So I have I withdraw $4,500 from 1,000, and my new account balance is negative $3,500. Okay, so let's go take a look at this. So $4,500 minus 1,000, negative $3,500. Now that, you know, that doesn't make sense. We need to fix that.